Now we are talking of how do we scale up the opportunities of harnessing the East African markets for wider trade from the city. And that will benefit us in terms of increased revenue to the city, increased employment of people, and socio-economic transformation. We are talking about policy development model, PDM. And under PDM, we are addressing as a country the key enterprises. We have poultry, which our people are engaged in. We have piggery. We have fish. We have food crops. We have apiary. We have fruits and horticulture. And these are products that our people should be able to produce larger scale to get a better market in the East Africa and beyond.
In that meeting, one of our key resolutions was to deepen the understanding of the federation at the local government level, so that leaders at the local government level are able to articulate these issues to the population, so that they understand why should we federate. Is it important that we really federate? And even when we are federating, where are we in terms of stages? The goal eventually is to have a total federation, but that might take us some time. But currently, I think many people, and in this meeting, that's how we shall proceed and look at it in that angle, is how do we make the East African currency operational? Because nowadays, East Africa now is wide and big, all the way from Congo to South Sudan to Somalia, down to Sudan, to Tanzania. And if we all keep using our currencies, a Ugandan is holding a Ugandan currency, I go to Kenya, again have to exchange, I travel to Somalia, exchange, then the gains of this federation may not be felt soon. So it's our prayer that our leaders at the national level can move faster to give us the East African currency, at least to make us feel that we are part of the process of federation. But of course, as Uganda, and talking from our experience as Lango, where Lira City is the capital of Lango, we still think there's a lot to be done in order for us to gain from this federation. For example, currently we still have our agricultural produce taken directly from our fields and into the next market. And many a times, in my mind, I used to know that we only sell to Kenya. But I had an incident where I was called to intervene, where a trailer that was taking maize from Lira to Kigali had a problem. That's when I got shocked. Maize from Lira being taken to Kigali and in its raw form. So those are the issues that as a region now we need to also talk to ourselves. Is it right that we still export or sell? I don't know even the language now. Should we call it even exporting when we are within the East African bloc? Or it should be a different language? It's still export.
Recently, I managed to convince some few SMEs to participate in Juakali in South Sudan. But the experience that the traders got from there may not motivate them to convince other people to go. First of all, the currency. By the time we were crossing the border, the dollar rate was fair. But even Uganda shilling was equivalent to the Sudanese pound. But by the time we reached there, started selling, 1 pound was equivalent to 5,000. 5,000 was equivalent to $1. So if you're trading, you go with something you're selling at 10,000, but by the time you're coming back, you're losing 30,000. I mean 3,000. So people go there and make losses, thinking that too, the safety-ness, all the time you need to be escorted. So much as we are advocating for for East African integration, we need also to protect our people, because some East African communities, like Sudan, is not yet very safe for our people. Two, I thank God that today you're reaching northern part of the country. Many other parts have already developed. The participation of the SMEs from other districts, they are more exposed, and our people from many of them are not exposed. So you find that when you tell them about these cross-border trades, they are only individuals, counted individuals who are aware. They don't even know. I'm happy today Mr. Owundu is reaching Lira and talking on radio to sensitize our people. But they call it export readiness. Our people are not ready for export. The local people who are producing, that is why they are still exporting the maize which have not added value to it, the rice which have not added value. So there is a lot that needed to be done. Two, people from here are not represented. So the challenges that they have at that level, maybe at the national level, regional level, they are not yet represented. It makes it very hard to communicate their view at the national level. Thank you, Madam, that you've come. I pray that you create a link between the people down here and your office so that we empower our women to contribute to this, to participate, in this East African integration.
And I want to also explain that I think I've met my objective, that I've learned a lot. And as a reference point in many instances, I think I have what to answer. In case our traders, in case our staff who sell their labor outside get stuck. So this has been very interesting. Now, what humbled me much is the fact that the ESC is now specifically for economic prosperity, which, as stated, is one of the very key things in the heart of the president of this country. That he has looked at household income very, very seriously among the lower class. We are aware of the 37%, and also for the business community to see that how do we prosper economically as a country. And I want to also emphasize that Uganda as a country, we are still the pearl of Africa, that we have so many of the blessings that can make us position ourselves and benefit more from the East African cooperation. Look at our weather. If we talk about agricultural production, and here we are looking at increased productivity. We have very good weather as a country, and in the event that the weather is not so good, as NRM, we have introduced irrigation to a very high standard now, that the farmers who are serious have embraced it and they can produce all the year around. So I want us to encourage our team to increase productivity in terms of producing, and as the mayor did mention, to produce crops that matter, that bring income. Then we can completely market.
Uganda is among the East African countries that is under East African cooperation. Recently, I was in Nairobi. And when we talk about cooperation, there is one thing that unify us. That is the language. And now we are talking about the Kiswahili. I don't know whether my Kiswahili, it's my Kiswahili that was not all that rich. My Kiswahili stopped at the border. When I reached Nairobi, I could not express myself, as if they were talking a different Kiswahili, not the one Uganda knows. So my comment is that we need to standardize the language Then when it comes to economic disparity, I want to say that Kenya and Uganda is still much far ahead. And for us to succeed, a lot needs to be done in Uganda. I want to start from the issue of trade. Recently, there was a launch of standard gauge railway in Tanzania. And in Uganda, we are still lacking. We were launching one of how many billion recently? But when you look at the road network from Tororo to Pakwach, that is the railway line, it is still there. Some are passing within the city here. And if we had that line from Pakwach to Tororo, it would have improved the trade we are talking about today.
2026 Africa would be a United States with having one president. Also within that, if you had time to go through what's the issue of insecurity in Africa, But in this Africa here, we find like we're not yet stable. Because like of recent, like if you had our traders were taking goods in South Sudan, there are issues of insecurity. They have to be escorted. How are we going to address the issue of insecurity in this Africa? Then my last thing is the issue of currency. You know, most of us who are sitting in this house, except the privilege, we don't have access to move. One, because of what? Currency. Second, because of like connectivity between what? Member states. Finally, like moving from here in Uganda, for me I've never been in any country apart from Uganda. So you find like, I don't know what happened in what? Tanzania, how are we going to ensure that we promote mobility of people, first of all people, to go and see what's in another country?
I'm a trader. I train youth and women on shop making, non-shop making. Some few months ago I was in Congo. I went there to buy. I got a lot of challenges around the border there until I have to use this border. I think the word border came even from the border, because I have to pass through the other Panya road in order to reach there, because even they asked me, they said, do you want to go the right way or the other way? I said, which way are you talking about? They said, we have a Panya also, or you go through that process, which is a challenge, and you have to pull a lot of money. So when I heard about it, I wanted to confirm, so I went to them. I found they were demanding a lot of money from me, pay for this. Do you have this test for, is it so many tests? So I decided to say, okay, it's okay, but that's the challenge. When I entered Congo, coming back was another problem. I cannot come back with the products I got from there. A lot of challenges. I have to get another way and reach Uganda again. So it was very discouraging. I could not go back again for the same whatever. And another challenge that I got, when you talk about commerce and we don't improve on our branding products. The way we brand our products is very poor. When you go outside Uganda and you see how really branding is a part of marketing. If our branding is poor like this, maybe our materials are poor, whatever. So you find other people now in other countries now. I went to Nairobi. You find also the coffee from Uganda, they can pick the same coffee and rebrand it and sell it in another point. Meaning the one of Uganda is brand poorly, so they just change the branding and sell the same thing. So we are really, even for me, that's a challenge to me, because I cannot brand my product the way I want it. Like now I have the idea of I can make some organic fertilizer, but the way I want to brand it, I cannot make it, because the branding material or whatever is not there in Uganda. The way you want to brand it, you cannot make it. So that's another challenge, I can say.
As part of our mandate, the Ministry of East African Community, we support initiatives geared towards realization of the EAC integration. This is to enhance citizens' participation to tap into the opportunities created by the integration process. We also share information on how the community can benefit from EAC integration. You see now the mayor has been talking about PDM beneficiaries. So we take them to inform them how they can benefit from this integration, the cross-border trade, the small-scale traders. So in that doing so, it is that in that context that we are gathered here today to update you on the EAC integration and inform you how can our people, the community, benefit from the integration agenda. The EAC integration agenda is anchored in the Treaty for the Establishment of the Community, which provides for a clear participation of citizens in the integration agenda. Article 7, I've provided a copy of the treaty to our leaders. Clause 1A of the treaty establishing the East African Community states that the principles that shall govern the practical achievements of the objectives of the community shall include people-centered and market-driven cooperation. So the involvement of the people of East Africa was considered as part of the lessons learned from the de facto EAC. Remember that at first Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania had started, but later they closed, but later we came back on board. That its collapse was partly contributed to the non-involvement of these key stakeholders, the stakeholders. So this time round we are moving as a group. You hear that our mayor, he has just come back from the local government EAC association engagement. So we ensure that at least all stakeholders are greatly involved in the integration agenda and the wider citizenry of East Africa. The mission is aimed at ensuring inclusive and consultative participation of stakeholders for practical realization of the community's objectives and promoting a people-centered and market-driven integration process. I want to remind us that the key component of the integration agenda in doing business together, a community, and expanding the market beyond East Africa, as well as removing barriers to trade for wider business and employment opportunities. So I also want to encourage all of us here to be part and support the integration agenda.
And this convergence criteria was supposed to be attained by 2021 and maintained for 3 years, running up to the establishment of the monetary union in 2024. But when an assessment was done, it was found out that most of the partner states were behind schedule. Now, they were behind schedule because there were 4 broad prerequisites that needed to be achieved ahead of the establishment of the monetary union. One of it was we have to have fully implemented the customs union and the common market protocol. You might have heard the Republic of, for example, the Republic of South Sudan is yet to fully implement the customs union. This is mainly because of domesticating the laws, and of course it also needs investment into the clearing processes within South Sudan. So that was some partner states has yet to fully implement that, and of course we have now new partner states like DRC and the Federal Republic of Somalia.
Once again, I'm Mariam Babu. I'm the chairperson for the Uganda National Women Cross-Border Traders Union. Yeah, as Mr. Ondo said, the union is comprised of all the cooperatives and associations across the country. The Women League started way back in 2010 after research was done on informal cross-border trade, this research showed that 80% of the smaller-scale informal cross-border traders were women and were facing all forms of harassment as they do informal cross-border trade, because they were not going through the gazetted route customs. They used to go through the porous routes, the bushes, the corridors, and this made them be exposed to all forms of harassment. Cross-border trade plays an important role in poverty reduction as it provides opportunities for the most poorest members of our society, who are the women, and cross-border trade among the border area communities is sometimes the sources of income. So, after this research, it called for the formation of the women leagues across the country. Busia, Mutukula, Katuna being the first ones to form associations, and today we have about 18 with the cooperatives and associations. Goli, Busia is the chair of the union. Goli is the vice chairperson. Mutukula is the secretary. Katuna treasurer, and other borders have committee members at national level. After the formation, let me talk briefly about what are the milestones or benefits. As women came together and formed groups, there was awareness creation on the procedures of crossing the border, the required documents, and the relevant agencies, which is one of the major factors which was leading these women into the bushes. Then there was awareness creation on the benefits of the ES integration, whereby the customs union and the common market protocols have been benefited from. The common market has been in detail presented by the chairman, and I'll think briefly about the customs union under the ES rules of origin. This is where the simplified trade regime lies, and the simplified trade regime specifically was designed for the small-scale traders to simplify the clearance process. And as you already know that majority of them are women, indirectly, I'm trying to tell you that this was designed for the women. The simplified trade regime, Mr. Onda has talked about it, but he didn't tell you that it allows a small-scale trader to clear her or his own goods minus engaging a clearing agent. This reduces on the cost of doing trade. Also, it gives a trader opportunity to do business in a very simple way because it has minimal formalities. Then we benefited from the one-stop border post. This is where, as women, we advocated for women desks. Women have specific, unique challenges as women, and non-tariff barriers affect women differently from men. That's why we advocated for women desks, and we have women desks at all one-stop border posts across the country. Apart from Chanika, it doesn't have a one-stop border post, but the customs people gave us space for our women to have a desk. These desks made us to be part of the one-stop border post family, and this automatically made us to be adopted into the border management committees and the joint border committees. This is where we get also a space to raise issues affecting us when we do trade. Also, the desk itself handles issues of women, GBV and the rest are handled at our desk. We have a coordinator who sits there from morning to evening, but not at night. The Women Cross-Border Union and the organizations or associations at the border level are recognized, because even the district, like Ebusi and Mutukula, gave the women space to put the resource centers whereby they can sit, do savings and all activities of their art, cooperatives or associations. Also, this very desk, the government of Uganda, through URA, provided the desk. This means that we are recognized locally and nationally. Then the ES also recognizes the women, just as Article 121 and 122 of the Treaty for establishing the ESC recognizes the important role of women in economic development, and the partner states committed themselves to empower and support the participation of women at all levels of socio-economic development. The women also participate in the policy formulation. Like Mr. Onda has talked of the list, the women have been part of the validation of the list of common goods agreed on by the partner states, and they have been going to Arusha. We also proposed the increase of the threshold from 2,000 to 5,000, which has not yet been approved, but the proposed items were approved, and I thank the Miaka for the advocacy. Then also COMESA recognizes the women, as currently COMESA is undergoing a validation on its framework on STR still, and in the first week of January, women from the ES and COMESA region are going to be in Zambia to validate the STR, the COMESA STR. On this note, I not have much to say about the women, as Mr. Ondo has talked it all. But what I can say is that, as Mr. Arasis talked about popularizing the programs, are also of the view that you popularize to the women in this greater north the existing policies. ESC, IGAD, and the AU itself has some good policies which are gender responsive, but we need to popularize them in that when these women know their rights, I think they can be able to represent themselves, to advocate for gender responsive mechanisms. We need the continuous sensitization of women in our communities, because for us we are so much at the borders, but we have now started to come into the interior, and as women cooperatives we are working with some men from Lila, Guru, and also Kampala. We have a digital network whereby we network which goods do we have, where is the market, and what are the requirements. We have a network of women across the country, even in the interior of the country. Also, let us try to link these women to the markets. The ministry, ESC, and also the cross-border associations have been planning for trade fairs to these women, like the Juakali. Yeah, we have been going to Kigali, Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, Kampala for these Juakali exhibitions. Let us link yeah, this year it was in South Sudan. Let us link these women to the markets. We also need to empower our women, because believe me or not, we still face underrepresentation as women. When you see or you look at the people in this house, majority are men. is still underrepresented. We need empowerment, not for women for the sake of representing, but women who can ably represent, who can talk issues affecting what? Women. And talking issues affecting women, we need to be empowered. Let us empower our fellow ladies in offices or positions. Use those opportunities to empower our women. Because when you empower a woman, you have empowered the whole nation. We are talking of like economic livelihood. When the woman has money in the home, that home, I can assure you, it will have what? It will raise the standard of what? Living. So let us empower the women in all sectors. Then I'm looking at specifically our region, the north. As long as we are talking about the free movement in the region, the safety itself, but insecurities remain a non-tariff barrier to regional trade. I call upon policymakers here, members here, stakeholders here, to encourage peace building and also give skills to the women, because women are natural peace builders, they are peacemakers. Let us give them the what? The skills, so that we can have a borderless Africa, a borderless East Africa without insecurities and wars. And then let us promote our traditional transitional justice mechanisms, whereby we can own them as communal places and reconcile and have a peaceful coexistence with the neighbors and also within our nation, Uganda.
Trying to enlighten the community around northern Uganda, the farmers, the business community, and the local government leaders and the community at large about the provisions and the opportunities under the East African Community Ministry of Affairs, but also the opportunities in trade sector in totality. This training started here in Lira City. We are going to expound on it to Gulu, Kitugumi, and the West Nile region. Basically, the key essential issue is to people just hear about East African community, they just hear about COMESA, and they really don't know what it means, what it entails, what does it do, how it does its role, and how they tap into these opportunities. Currently, we have government of Uganda advocating and promoting a parish development model, which is supposed to tap into the economy of this country and tap into the regional blocks markets around the region, East African community and COMESA trading regs. And the purpose, our cardinal purpose of coming to northern Uganda and the West Nile region in particular, is to equip the beneficiaries of the parish development model get to understand the opportunities where now that they are in production, because the government, we are aware government has given them a lot of money in billions to expand production. We don't want this production expanded and they stay with the production. We want to market, we want this to market and they stay in the money economy. They leverage from the other economy to money economy. And this is the reason we are here to campaign to make people transform into a money economy. This exercise has started here. Like I said, it's going to encourage part of northern and the West Nile region by end of this week. And by the end of it all, we want also to understand what is the region potentially able to produce and add on the economy of this country as a GDP in terms of production as leveraged by the parish development model. One of the challenges we are still facing within the cross-border trade, one is an awareness about the opportunities at the border points, illiteracy, ignorance. That's the biggest issue. Two, we have an issue of fluctuation of the exchange rates at the border points. Even during this engagement here in Lira City, it came out prominently, and the argument and the need for everybody is why don't we have a common currency which can thrive over the East African community. So our thinking is we are going to urge our ESC pattern, ESC block to expedite the process of having one monetary unit in use. The other challenges, we have a number of non-tariff barriers, cartels, roadblocks along the value chain act of some of the products. But these are issues we are saying no. We have online reporting for non-tariff barriers. We're also telling the people that we have a mechanism of how they can do online marketing so that even when what they have produced here they can get. So we are trying to understand what is the region, what is making the region lag behind. You will agree with me that northern Uganda lags behind with the eastern Uganda in the production and in money economy aspects. And this is why we are sounding this to these regions, that please let us be part of the economy of this country. Let us be into production. Now that the government has come to support us with the capital, let us do more in value addition and a partnership development model, so that we amplify this. We have more beyond what the president normally says, not working for the stomach alone, but let us work beyond this, so that at the end of the day, we have excess for market. And now, if excess is there for market, where should we market? And that's the key issue which brought us. And we give you what opportunity lies across the borders when you are marketing your products, and what should you market, how should you market it, the quality, not the quantity. Those are the issues we are really raising here for our discussion today, and what we are doing in the northern part of Uganda. But the challenges are enormous, but the few among so many are those I have highlighted.